Hey, Mel.
I invite you to rise for the invocation. For all that has been, thanks. For loving mentors, challenging teachers, supportive family, and friendships that will persist. For hotel quarantines and nasal swabs and Zoom classes and the joy of returning. For sweat and tears and failures and the deep learning that follows. For late-night, life-changing conversations and sunsets over the quad and dance parties and the bonds that knit you and knit us together like no group ever before. For each name spoken, each degree conferred, thanks. For all that will be, yes. For these moments to breathe deep and celebrate. For this time in which we can embrace one another, for the work ahead to build and rebuild communities which are just and caring and verdant and kind, for hope for a world in which there is no such thing as normal and which needs you and for which you are ready, whether you feel it or not. Yes. For all that has been, thanks. For all that will be, yes. For all that has been, say it with me, thanks. For all that will be, say it with me, yes. Amen. Please remain standing for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. Well, good morning on this glorious day. My name is John, and I'm the president of this great university. I am so pleased to welcome the families and friends of the class of 2022 who have traveled here today to join us in celebrating the newest graduates of Bucknell University. Welcome to our university's faculty and staff. They've supported every step of your journey, and they are here today filled with pride to share in the joy of your accomplishment. We also welcome members of our Board of Trustees who are here for this culminating event. They are generous volunteer leaders who are dedicated to the stewardship of our great university. I want to thank especially our keynote speaker, Ms. Daisy Auger Dominguez, a proud member of the class of 1995, for returning to Bucknell to address the class of 2022 today. We are thrilled to welcome her home, and we look forward to hearing her special message for our graduates. Let's make it official. Congratulations, class of 2022. Ray Bucknell. Today, we celebrate our degree candidates and their years of hard work and dedication. You have risen to the challenge and today join a community of more than 50,000 alumni worldwide. A lot has happened, to say the least, since your arrival at Bucknell nearly 4 years ago. Do you remember where you were on the evening of August 19th, 2018? Most of you were gathered in the Weiss Center, where I delivered my convocation address to the class of 2022. In those remarks, I said, in 1,372 days, you'll be sitting on the academic quad celebrating your graduation. Here we are, and little did we know what lay between then and now. Now, convocation is a milestone occasion for first-year students. It is held the night before their first classes begin and marks the beginning of the undergraduate journey. It's a time of excitement mixed with more than a bit of trepidation and uncertainty. At convocation, you might have wondered if you were really ready to meet the demands of college academics or if you could even find your classes. You may have felt anxious about making new friends. Maybe you felt hungry and wondered if the CAF would still be open if only I ever stopped talking. But we at Bucknell knew you would thrive here. That's why we invited you to be part of this class. And on that night, I encourage you to embrace life's most daunting challenges, starting immediately. Little did we know. As evidenced by your accomplishments of the past 4 years, you took my words to heart. You tested scientific theories, you conducted field work, you sang and danced, you wrote papers of increasing complexity, you started businesses and you studied abroad. You stepped up to volunteer and to lead, and you took risks. You weren't always quite sure what you were doing, but you learned to lean into uncertainty. Little did we know. You tapped into your critical thinking skills and leveraged the power of collaboration. You became adept communicators. When you hit snags, you stayed focused and flexible, and you adjusted as needed to reach your goals. These are core values for Bucknellians everywhere, and they will last you a lifetime. Whether you're an artist, an engineer, or an entrepreneur, your presence on Malasadi Quad this morning proves that you have the skills that have served our alumni so well for generations past. And now, for the best part, the same values and skills that allow you to seize unexpected opportunities also equip you to handle the other type of uncertainty, the kind that comes with a crisis, as you do know so well. You've undoubtedly faced setbacks as a student, a disappointing grade, maybe a romance that didn't quite work out as you hoped, or perhaps a season-ending injury. Again, your very presence here demonstrates your ability to meet unexpected difficulties head-on. And of course, as a group, you face perhaps the biggest hurdle of all. More than half of your undergraduate experience has taken place in the context of a global pandemic. Since March of 2020, you've navigated the challenges of the pandemic's most uncertain days while continuing to work toward your degree. Some of you experienced the loss of loved ones. Yet your resolve remained constant, even as we all were uncertain what to expect as COVID-19 swept the globe. I am so extraordinarily proud of you and our community for everyone's commitment to your education as well as your commitments to each other. As you leave campus today as a Bucknell graduate, do so with the confidence that you can surely handle anything. But remember, too, that none of us succeeds alone. You have had the support of your parents, family members, and special friends, many of whom are here today to celebrate this milestone with you. In that vein, graduates, I ask you to please rise, turn around, and thank your family for their commitment and belief in your ability and potential. And now I would ask everyone in the audience who's able to please rise and join us in thanking the Bucknell faculty and staff, represented by my colleagues to the left and the right. Every university employee cares so much about you. We are unbelievably proud of you, my dear, dear colleagues. Please be seated. And now I'd like to offer a special welcome to a dear friend, a special guest, and someone who I quite truly love deeply. I think everyone here today is familiar with the name Malasardi, as in our beautiful Malasardi Quad. Doris Malasardi and her beloved late husband, Bob, a member of the class of 1945, are among the greatest benefactors in the history of our institution. And I am thrilled to share that yet again she is here today to celebrate with you. The Malasardi family is deeply committed to expanding access to Bucknell, as evidenced by their generous support of need-based financial aid, and by creating a matching gift program to encourage others to follow their extraordinary example. They have amplified the impact of their giving mightily. We are extremely grateful for their foresight and leadership. Doris, we are so honored to have you with us today. I ask everyone to please join me in thanking Doris Malasardi for all she and Bob have done to transform Bucknell. It's now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Daisy Auger Dominguez, the Chief People Officer at Vice Media Group. A proud member of the class of 1995, she has spent 2 decades designing and executing diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies for organizations including the Walt Disney Company and Google. Ms. Auger Dominguez began her career at Moody's Investors Service as a credit risk analyst, global manager of philanthropic programs, and its first head of diversity, inclusion, and talent acquisition. She has since designed, led, and scaled organizational transformations at some of America's largest companies and founded Auger Dominguez Ventures, a workplace culture consultancy. In recognition of her professional accomplishments, Ms. Auger Dominguez has been honored as one of Hispanic Executive's 10 leaders, and as well as People en Español's 25 most powerful women. And as a leader in the effort to make workplaces more representative, welcoming, and equitable, Ms. Auger Dominguez shares her insight in her new book, Inclusion Revolution, the essential guide to dismantling racial inequity in the workplace. But she is more than a renowned speaker and alumnus, author, and startup advisor. Like so many Bucknellians, she is dedicated to helping her community. She serves on the boards of Planned Parenthood, the Brooklyn Children's Museum, the Robert Sterling Clark Foundation, and St. Anne's Warehouse, and she is a recipient of the New York City Council Leadership and Community Service Award. Ms. Auger Dominguez exemplifies Bucknell values in another important way. She earned her degree in International Relations and Women and Gender Studies, underscoring the versatility and power of a truly interdisciplinary liberal arts education, which prepared her so well to succeed. By seizing opportunities as they arose and bringing her talents and confidence to bear, she has become a national leader in the diversity, equity, and inclusion area, which is so vital to a strong and healthy society. Daisy, we are so proud and honored to welcome you back to the other side of the podium, and we look forward to hearing your inspirational message today. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Daisy Auger Dominguez.
I'm just taking this in a little bit. Hello, graduates. 27 years ago, I was sitting on those same seats, as uncertain and as hopeful about my future as some of you may be right now. What I knew for sure was that I would go on to graduate school in the fall to study public policy. But if someone had suggested that one day I'd be standing here delivering a commencement speech for a future class of Bucknell graduates, I would have said, no way. Mine was not a carefully curated journey. I didn't set out to become a CEO and rise to the top of my profession. I wanted to dedicate my life to something meaningful, and I thought public policy was a good start. Most of you will also see some curves on the road, U-turns, detours, and I'm here to tell you it's all okay. I was born in New York City to 16-year-old parents. My father is Dominican, my mother Puerto Rican. My journey took new turns early. When at nearly 2 years old, I moved back to the Dominican Republic to be raised by my paternal grandparents. In the early part of my life, my best friends were Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Chinese, Dutch, Israeli, you name it. At school, we had to speak English. But outside, we grew up sharing our different traditions, our languages, our foods. At home, we spoke Spanish. My grandparents proudly grounded me in my Dominican heritage. And perhaps because they had grown up with very little, they instilled in me a spirit of generosity and service for the underserved. I didn't realize it at the time, but navigating these varied experiences, they taught me to be agile and to adapt at an early age. Then my journey took me back to the United States, New Jersey to be exact, when I was 16. Imagine that, moving to a new country and starting fresh as a junior in high school. Ugh. And as if losing everything that was familiar to me wasn't awful enough, this is when I discovered I was part of a new identity group. I was now Hispanic. I was immediately labeled as such, forced to check a box, redeclaring my ethnic heritage every time I had to fill out a form or introduce myself to my new community. I will always remember this particular warm and sunny spring day when on a bus trip back from some senior high school activity, a few of us huddled together to share our college acceptances. I quickly felt a sharp sting when one of my classmates said, "Of course you got into all those schools. You're Hispanic. It's called affirmative action." In that moment, it was as if all of my achievements were erased, and I was forced into the most marginalized sections of my identity. I couldn't escape his stereotype-filled version of Hispanics. What hurt the most was that he said it as if he didn't believe that I could actually earn the opportunity. It was as if my success was perceived as some kind of injustice inflicted on him. All I knew was that I never wanted to feel like that again. Like all journeys, life always presents a plot twist. For me, it appeared again a few weeks later when I received a letter inviting me to attend a summer program at one of the colleges that I was considering. The letter said, "Congratulations on your acceptance. We'd like you to join us this summer for a program designed for students of color to help you adjust to campus life." Now, getting to spend the summer on a college campus with college kids, I was all in. But then I learned that the courses I had to take were meant to help build general competencies in English and math. Why would I need those courses when I was about to graduate with honors? Yet again, an achievement gets knocked down. But this time, someone I love explained it to me. I can still hear my aunt in her thick Spanish accent saying to me, "They think you need that program because you're poor and Hispanic." Instead of feeling welcomed, I felt ashamed. In that moment, it was clear to me that was not the path for me, and I needed to summon the courage to imagine a different path. I would go on to a university that would welcome the whole of me. That path led me to Bucknell. But instead of showing up full of confidence, I showed up with a sense of insecurity, instilled at the start by having to check boxes on my identity, and reinforced at every turn by the worry of being categorized and weighed down by everything that's unfairly associated with my ethnic heritage. However, at Bucknell, I became part of two communities that would again teach me the value of agility, courage, and compassion. First, I joined the Social Justice Residential College, where Professors Teresa Ammett, Lyndon Lewis, and Ernie Keene helped me discover who I was in the context of my racial, gender, and cultural identity. They saw me. They challenged me. They celebrated me. And in turn, they helped me see the change I could make to help others feel seen, challenged, and celebrated. I am beyond honored today that Teresa and Lyndon are here today. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for helping me. Yes, please applaud. Thank you for helping me find my voice and purpose. I also became part of an extended family I never knew I needed. I was adopted as a little in the Big Little program. This initiative, this family, was created and led by Black students, providing support and a sense of belonging deeply needed for the underrepresented students of color on campus. Finding people that not only looked like me, but that also understood my experience as a Latina on campus helped me find that feeling of connectedness that we all crave. 7th Street House and East Street House, the Black affinity homes, those were my safe spaces. They also happen to have the best parties on campus. Everyone wants to feel seen, valued, and understood. Little did I know then that my life would be an evolving set of experiences, of change and more change over the course of several decades, and that those experiences, including the cultural and racial navigational tools I learned at Bucknell, would help me become a navigator of change for others in workplaces. It was a wintry afternoon in a high-rise building in downtown Manhattan. I was 26 years old, fresh in my new job as a credit risk analyst at Moody's Investor Service, and sitting in a meeting with about 7 or 8 clients and colleagues. I was the only Latina, the only person of color, and the youngest person in that room. A senior analyst turned to me and said, "Hey, Daisy, answer me this. Why do all Dominicans play baseball?" I instantly felt my stomach sink. I felt minimized by that cultural cliche and embarrassed that I needed to respond to it in front of my clients and colleagues. Words matter. He probably thought he was making a harmless comment. He didn't pause to think about how that could make me feel. I stumbled a bit and weakly said, "Well, some of us become credit analysts." The room responded with laughter, and we moved on, or so I thought. A few days later, when I was debriefing the meeting with my manager, I shared the exchange as an awkward experience. I was worried at first about how she would respond. But to my surprise, my manager instantly expressed a deep sense of compassion and then jumped to action. She took immediate steps to ensure that senior analyst and everyone else on our team would never make insensitive comments like that again, including investing in cultural sensitivity training at a time that was not as common as it is today. My manager modeled courage and compassion by disrupting a seemingly harmless social exchange. By helping me feel safe and seen, she also helped me see the agency I had to effect change for myself and others in the workplace. From Moody's, I went on to work at some of the world's most admired companies. Time and again, I learned that it is possible to be hired at a top company, be part of the leadership team, be invited to the most important meetings, and even be asked to speak, and still not feel that people like you belong there. The great driving force of my career has been helping others feel seen, valued, and understood, and to help organizations minimize people feeling like outsiders, because it has been part of my winding path. A few months into joining Google, a young Latinx woman of Venezuelan descent invited me for coffee. She had one of those bright, warm smiles, the ones that light up a room. We connected over our shared experiences as Latinas at Google. A few weeks later, she shared what she had written about us in her diary. She mentioned being so consumed by emotion after we said our goodbyes that she cried the minute the elevator doors closed on us. She noted that I wore a white dress and heels, had long flowing hair, that was a long time ago, spoke Spanglish, and greeted her with a warm hug and kiss on the cheek. This was the first time that she saw herself reflected in senior leadership at Google. Prior to meeting me, she wrote, she thought she needed to sacrifice her culture, her looks, her identity to succeed in Silicon Valley. Meeting me changed that for her. This was also the moment that I realized my path had come full circle. I was now the source of support, hope, and connection that would help take her to new heights. And I did that by showing up as my full, compassionate Dominican and Puerto Rican self. Nothing more to it. Sometimes the turns in your journey are not by choice. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was consulting with Fortune 500s, startups, and nonprofits, a dream gig. But overnight, the world turned upside down. And I knew that diversity, equity, and inclusion would once again be minimized. Because these efforts, although they're gaining traction, they're still seen as a luxury instead of a necessity. But a new path opened up when, out of the blue, I was approached to join Vice Media as its Chief People Officer. I pivoted yet again. I had never led a full HR function, but I knew that I had it in me to both lead and to adapt quickly. I am a Bucknell graduate, after all. Here I was, in my biggest job yet. I was in the C-suite of an extraordinary youth brand at the edge of culture, responsible for a globally dispersed team. Then after 2 weeks, George Floyd was murdered, igniting a global racial reckoning. There are few times in one's life when one's work, purpose, and skill set meet a unique need. And this was one of them for me. Every step of my journey led me to this moment. I had to call on every bit of courage, compassion, and agility that I had developed over the years to hold space for the people under me. The people under my watch who were hurting, who were confused and unsure of how to move on. I coached managers to pause before jumping to action, to listen to what their team members needed, and to show that they cared even when they didn't know what to say. This is the compassionate leadership that I wish for every single one of you. I was the right person for this company. And all the box checking, the self-questioning, the dealing with doubters, my life, my career, my path made me perfect for this role. Now, stepping into this work with confidence and resolve comes from years of navigating difference, challenging assumptions, including my own, and interrogating behaviors that often go unquestioned. Navigating my own cultural and racial identity, building my courage and the agility to build roadmaps when the urgency is clear, but the path forward not so much, helped me find what makes me come alive. 2 years ago, in the midst of a global pandemic and racial reckoning, I put my whole body, mind, and heart into writing Inclusion Revolution while I still was running a global people and culture function, because helping others navigate change with agility, compassion, and deep, deep courage is what I am meant to do. It takes all of the stages of the journey to get to where I am today. I have come to understand who I am and the role I both wanted to play and was asked to play on many occasions, not through wins, but I learned through doubts, through losses, and through hard-earned lessons. I didn't always feel that I belonged. But when I felt I may not make it, I drew on support and courage from my family, like my beloved father, stepmother, daughter, and husband who are here with me today. And my friends, teachers, and mentors who said, persevere. Now, the next steps of your journey, they begin tomorrow. How exciting is that? Oh, you may feel the need to curate your journey like an Instagram account or whatever social media platform you use. I say, don't bother. The idea of a non-linear path may sound a bit terrifying. However, the only thing predictable in the future is going to be the constant highs and lows of life and everything in between. Sometimes the most circuitous paths, they lead you to where you're supposed to be. The opportunities you take and those you don't. The wins and the setbacks. Listen to the voices, like those of my aunt, that recognize when someone is diminishing your value. Find the courage to stand in your truth by gazing at your own insecurities, then gazing right past them. When you make those seemingly soul-crushing mistakes, because you will, learn to trust and embrace the ebbs and flows in your life path. The lessons you learn and strengths you develop, they're all unknown to you today. But building the agility needed for a winding path will give you courage. The people you meet along the way, perhaps those sitting right next to you today, they will teach you compassion. Embracing your journey with curiosity will lead you to where you are meant to be, perhaps where I am today. Dream extravagantly. Lean into your heart. Show up for yourself and the people in your life with unrelenting courage and compassion. You have the most to gain by allowing yourself to witness how all the dots connect together. Everything under the sun, it's been said and done before. But your slant into the world is singular and magical. Embrace the curves on the road, the circuitous path, your path. That's where you'll find what makes you come alive. Thank you, President Brovman, faculty, staff, and alumni. A special and loving nod to my Smith Hall 1A class of 1995, to my Big Little family, and to the class leaders today who invited me to join you. And to all of you, class of 2022, thank you for allowing me to be part of this special moment in your lives, the commencement of the next chapter of your lives. Congratulations to you, your family, and friends. Ray Bucknell.
Well, thank you, Daisy, for that amazing and inspiring story. Lyndon Lewis, thank you for exemplifying all that Bucknell faculty and staff do, one student at a time. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Provost of Bucknell University, Dr. Elizabeth Merman Joswick.
Good morning, class of 2022. Thank you so much, Daisy, for this wonderful advice. It is thrilling to celebrate your success and to learn how your Bucknell education made it possible. And it is even more thrilling to welcome you to the ranks of alumni as well. On behalf of your faculty and your college deans, I offer my warmest congratulations on your graduation from Bucknell. We are so proud of your academic success, and we wish you all the best for your next steps, be it starting a career or going to graduate school, serving your community, or taking a well-deserved break. We have watched you grow into deep thinkers, persuasive writers, and skilled presenters. In this class, I see exacting scientists, emerging entrepreneurs, graceful dancers, passionate activists, and dedicated volunteers. Even more importantly, I also see good friends, devoted sons and daughters, supportive siblings, and beloved grandchildren. We are honored and privileged to have been entrusted with your education, to have guided your journey from convocation all the way to graduation, and share this way with you and your loved ones. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Gary Steiner, Professor of Philosophy and Secretary of the Faculty, to present the class.
Candidates for degrees, please rise. Got it? Oh, man. President Brobman, on behalf of the faculty, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for degrees. These degrees will be conferred at a later date upon verification that degree requirements have been completed.
Upon recommendation of the faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Board of Trustees, and subject to your completion of the requirements, I confer upon you the appropriate degree, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which throughout the world pertain to that degree, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the university. Congratulations.
Candidates for degrees, please be seated.
Mr. President, I have the pleasure of presenting candidates for bachelor's degrees from the College of Arts and Sciences, 595 in number. Margaret Rose Adams. Hannah Elizabeth Adenero. Shanze Asen. Charles Henry Alvarez. Alexander Bo Apgar. Catherine Claire Apostle, in absentia. Margaret Claire Ashley. Nicholas John Athanasiadis. Akil Andre Atkins. Jillian Hall Augustine. Anthony Baker, in absentia. Lily Marion Baker. Thomas Deniston Baldwin. Jordan Elizabeth Barber. Macy Elizabeth Barton. Jonathan Andrew Basom. Emma Carly Battle. Alexandra Mary Bazarian. Catherine Grace McKillany Beck. Austin Victor Bednars. Madeline Duplay Bennett. Allison Joanne Bergeron. Noah Elliott Berg. Catherine Frances Bixby. Genevieve Gordon Block. Caroline Ann Blount. Ashley Rose Baccio. Alec William Borman. Kevin J. Boyle. Michaela Elizabeth Bracken. Cooper Bartlett Bradshaw. Ryan David Bremer. Bridget O'Brien Brett. Natalie Lisa Brickman. Anna K. Brooks. Maya C. Brown. Andre Bukalu. Emma Christine Buchanan. Caroline Thielens Buck. Decker Sebastian Buckley. Mark Savannah Burney. Holly Catherine Burns. William Eric Cadwaller. Carolyn Hanson Campbell. Lauren Nicole Canna. Christopher James Canizero. Melissa Elizabeth Capano. Christine Renee Capobianco. Nicholas George Caravias, in absentia. Hannah Cardia. Alana Marie Carlucci. Peyton Murphy Carnavale. Isabella Maria Correga. Timothy John Carroll. Vincent John Cartelli. Cynthia Chang. Christina Nicole Chatternuk. Tabitha Taylor Chilton. Dirk Taylor Chisholm. Peter Maxey Chelnoki. Alexandra Lori Chichelli. Ava Joyce Cifalillo. Alexander Megarick Clark. Elise Maureen Cookley. Aaliyah Nicole Cofield. Catherine Ann Cognard Black. Haley Elizabeth Coleman. Cade Thad Collum. Megan Jean Comstock. James Joseph Connors V. Sulares Contreras. John Maurice Cogan III. Timothy James Cooney. Jared Emerson Cooper. Connor Preston Copeland, in absentia. Alexandra Grace Cochran. Sean William Cochran. Ruby Cordova. Reichley Cesar Costa Paisho. Gianna Katerine Christofouli. Nicholas Arthur Corvato. William Prang Cutlitten. Nicholas Chang Detweiler. Isabella Emma D'Ambrosio. Joseph Martin D'Angelo. Vaughn Sterling Deary. Sabrina Lordana Debler. Reed Emilio Delanois. Anna Rachel Danelski. Catherine M. Denninger. Corey Michael Den. Micah Christopher Dennis. Isabella Marie DeRiso. Emily Grace DeCernia. Angelique Raquel Diaz. Sydney Grace Dickinson. Michaela Hunt Dietrich. Fian DeZazzo. Andrew Jeremiah Doan. William J. Donovan. Sherab Lamo Dorji. Emily McCormick Doyle. Michaela Amelia Mignonette Dubois. Nina Maher Duffy. Samantha Helen Dunn. Corrine Louisa Eaton. Colin Andrew Eifert. Catherine Hastings Emery. Lilt Endeshaw. Aaron Zara Erikin. Nicole Carol Everett. Jillian Anna Fabijanek. Ava Annalise Fairbanks. Alexis Elizabeth Feria. Bensa Faze Kosh. Maya Antoinette Fazio. Kathleen Meredith Fedzer. In absentia. Juliana Christina Ferreira. Jacob Henry Feuerstein. Lauren Marie Fierro. Michael Jacob Fisher. Jillian Lee Flynn, in absentia. Ryan K. Forrester. Jalen Ford. Rachel A. Fox. Brendan Thomas Frayne. Luisa Rodriguez Mota Francisco. Laura Marion Delic Friedman. Isabella Paige Fromm. Paige Addison Galloway. Paul Tedeschi Galvalo Coleman. Andrea Nicole Garcia. Andrew Nicholas Gargiulo. Ralph Ronald Garamond III. Corrine George. Sophia Drew Gianelli. Sarah Gibbeck. Remington Leah Gibson. Jalen Amir Gilliam. Claire Peyton Gilman. Caitlin Marie Gilroy. Hannah Rachel Goldberg. Eris Sasha Goldschmitz, in absentia. William Cyrus Graff. Noah P. Greenberg. Paris Michaela Amani Grigsby. Caitlin Lee Grogan. Rachel Paige Getchner. Tian Rui Guo. Courtney Reed Guthrie. Sarah Elizabeth Haber. Ridwan Jamal Hagos. Elizabeth Walsh Haley. Luke Vance Hamper. Jaehong Hang. Patrick Francis Hanley. Wu Yang Han. Elena Marie Harris. Cache Lene Harris. Madison Rose Hardigan. Madison Nicole Hatcher. Megan Catherine Hathaway. Michael Patrick Heller. Verona Elizabeth Hendricks. Morgan Mary Hennessy. Ian Bernhard Hert. William Francis Higgins. Celia Michelle Hilton. Brett Seabury Hobbs. Larissa Hodzik. Ella Carey Louise Hogan. John James Hogan, in absentia. Joshua A. Holm. Scarlett Ann Horn. Thomas Peter Hosbach. John Wilson Hunt, in absentia. Alexandra Joan Iannoni. Stephen Jude Iovini. Stephen Victor Jabor. Kaylin Rose Jacobs. Emma Marie Allegra James. Aaron Lee Jengo Quirk. Sun Woo Jian. Rachel Elizabeth Johnston. Harriet Colgate Jones. Serena Grace Jones. Tiara Latrice Monique Jones. Matthew D. Karbowski. Shannon Elizabeth Carlock. Cheyenne Marie Katz. Russell Arthur Katz. Hannah Elena Kaufman. Logan Scott Kellerman. Aideen Catherine Kelly. Megan Christine Kelly. Peyton Matthew Kendall. Brian Scott Kennedy Jr. Theodore A. Kennedy. Peyton Ann Kenny. Eleanor Catherine King. Hannah Mariah Coristi, Cameron Coffey Kittle, Richard Paul Clavon III, Megan Kopitsky, in absentia, Jack Kornreich, Drew Evan Krantz, Sinette Croach, Lucy Orion Kubinski, Elizabeth Eileen Lagerbach, Angela Monve Lay, Sage Rihanna Lamadi, Holm Lamp, Madison K. Lance, Avery Sophia Landon, Sophie Elizabeth Longa, Nicholas Christian Long, George Larson, Ethan James Lawrence, Christina Elizabeth Lawrence, Ian Heinrichs Lawrence, Joe Yi-Chan Lee, Noah Thomas Levitt, Rachel Sarah Levine, Emily Claire Lindgren, Mackenzie Marie Ling, Ren Ian Lintz, Josephine K. Lippincott, Chase Scott Littenberg, John Peter Lavanos, Carrie Ann Loomis, Samantha Marie Lopes, Anthony Lopez, Brendan David James Lundy, in absentia, Connor Patrick Lunny, in absentia, Megan Elizabeth Lutz, Dominic Christian Lyles, Tara Marie Lyons, Davis Wyatt McKellen, Gianna Irene McConas, Wilson Angus McPherson, Evangela Gina Macris, Melissa Francesa Perez Madden, Caroline Delaney Madigan, Caitlin Nestle Mahoney, Michael Connor Malarkey, Madison Angelina Mallory, Abigail Taylor Markle, Janiyah K. Martin, Hunter Randolph Matson, Cole Nicholas McCabe, Marcus Eric McCallum, Ryan Michael Martin McCann, Jacqueline Nazreen McCarthy, Margaret Lily McConnell, Bree Isabel McCullough, Henry Kane McCullough, Lauren Patricia McDermott, Grace Catherine McAvoy, Caroline Amanda McGann, Skylar Ray McGee, Laurel Pierce McHale, Julia Grace McLagan, Angela Christine Meckley, Allison Marie Meehan, Catherine Ariel Mearshite, Matilda Melkonin, Jack Joseph Mamali, Claire Claudette Mency, Anna Raphael Mestel, David Wright Mester, Sophia Rose Myers, Bradley M. Mickelson, Ryan Christopher Mealy, Rachel Teresa Milio, Patrick Robert Malone, Jasmine Kaur Minhas. Holly Emmanuel Puyat Miranda. Molly Jean Mishler. Jacob Zaslow Mittman. Sarah Carter Morgan. Bridget Ann Antonio Murphy. Meredith Blake Murphy. Nicholas Vanderhoff Murphy. Charlotte Seiler Murray. Lauren Nicole Nagel. Sasha Elizabeth Narang. Abigail May Neff. Alexandra M. Nugaborn. Rafael Guillermo Newman. Sarah Eva Nonen. James Bernard O'Connor. Marjorie McCormick O'Connor. Austin William Odell. Christopher Jungsok O. Anna Elizabeth O'Keefe. Ephraim Everett Oliphant, in absentia. McCrae Michael Olson. Kara E. O'Neill. Molly Rebecca O'Neill. Julissa Ortiz Ramos. Brendan Keenan O'Toole. Andrew Edwards Pacious. Carrie Ann Palfreeman. Shang Yan Pan. Maria Alexa Papanikolaou. Renee Ashley Pop. Dana Marie Pardee. Emmeline Laurel Pardum. Natalie Jane Patterson. Michael John Pavick. Carly Grace Pavoni. Jocelyn Monique Perdomo. Jeffrey Wood Perkins. Griffin Porter Peralt. Aidan Thor Perry. Dominic Joseph Piazza. Kendall Logan Pearson. Milana Leanne Poland. Megan May Pomeroy. Danielle Ruth Porter. Aaron Nicholas Prazuama. Hannah Elizabeth Price. Zachary M. Prince. Winyi Sheehan. Sean Thomas Quinn. Rebecca Sarah Rahimi. Ashlyn Renee Ramos. Nicole Christina Reddig. Lisa Delaney Richard. Tyler Eve Rifkin. Jonathan Miles Riker. Catherine Morgan Riley. Michelle Foster Ritardi. Nicole Diane Rivetti. Bailey Marie Rizzo. Haley Janelle Robin. Haley Anna Robinson. Jacqueline Rose Romano. Tatiana Nicole Roman. Jack William Rose. Jaden LeVar Rouse. Macy A. Ruda. Christian Thomas Ruff. Ethan Francis Sales, in absentia. Tallulah Sky Samberg. Christian Gregory Samuels. Noah Anthony Sansalone. Jillian Rose Santos. Dana K. Sartorelli. Alex Faud Sisya. Molly C. Schmader. Amelia F. Schmall. Caitlin May Schmidt. Alexandra Jolie Schneider. Emily Rose Schofield. Caroline Claire Schurman. Scott Rose Schwartz. Olivia Ellen Scotty. Matodi Destiny Sebrowley. Brandon Christopher Seidman. A. Callahan Seitz. Laura Catherine Schaefer. Renee Shenzanarian. Sarah Morgan Shaw. Abigail Ilsa Shapiro. Lauren Renee Shearer. Hannon Jian Shin. Kaylee Ann Schallenberger. Lily Charlotte Shorney. Charlotte Elizabeth Simon. Riley M. Singer. Neil Austin Sklar. Emery Elizabeth Smith. Isabella Ida Smith. Michael Angelo Smith, in absentia. Nina Danielle Smith. Maeve Lamb Snover. Vittoria Satani. J.P. Stark, in absentia. Andrew Evan Stephenson. Elizabeth Mary Stolt, in absentia. Emma Kathleen Stone. Abigail Martin Strayer. Maura Elizabeth Stroud. Sarah Elena Stukalin. Cheyenne Nicole Stunger. Emily K. Sullivan. Travis W. Telricchio. Brian Tan. Alston Clements Terry. Caroline Dale Tattersfield. Tori Suzanne Tazik. Hunter Douglas Thomas. Spencer Anderson Thors. E. Gentine. Jack Rand Ticknor. Julia LaRue Takish. Margarita Torres Laredo. James Peter Trainer. Emily Steer Turner. Margot Williams Lee Vicari. Jackson King Van Slyke. Jessica Lynn Volchek. Madeline Blanche Vore. Olivia Rose Vospikian. Natividad Montez Wadhams. Brandon Thomas Waldo. Stephen James Walker. John Harrison Wallace. Marley Amelia Walls. Elizabeth Armstrong Walsh. Han Zhang Wang. Yuri Wang, in absentia. Anthony Clay Warnick. Samuel Frederick Warren. Harry Alexander Welford. Andrew Phillips Wellington. Catherine Corbett Wendell. Abigail Joanne Whitaker. Samuel Northrop White. Miranda Lillian Williams. Olivia Charleston Williams. Tyler James Williams. Leah Marie Wolf. Melissa Catherine Reedy. Samantha Elise Worm. Nicole Linda Yeager. Joshua Yellen Flaherty, in absentia. David Benjamin Yoder. Joshua Charles Yoder. Marissa Sung Young Yu. Jingtong Yu. Catherine Andrea Flores Zera. Leah Marie Zavataro. Brandon Zhu, in absentia. For the degree Bachelor of Science, Macy Ruth Albatis. Rachel Leandra Anello. Jesse Robert Barbera. Anais S. Barnes. Caitlin Grace Barnett. Margot Louise Beck. Lauren Kelsey Bednarski. Lindsay H. Bloom. Olivia Lynn Bonjovi. Natasha Juliet Brecht. Cassandra Pearl Brown. Austin Joseph Bruck. Adam Marson Budson. Julia Catherine Boschio. Catherine Elizabeth Berg. Justin Xander Bai. James Lawrence Campbell. Ella Olland Carlander. Kaylin Patricia Carr. Beatrice Anna Casey. Keith C. Kassar. Jasmine Janet Celadon. Maxwell Robert Chandler. Owen Kalman Chase. Zeming Chen. Anya A. Chopra. Matthew Samuel Semino. Maria Carey Cohop Miranda. John Daniel Colbert. Phoebe Claire Capola. Julia Rose Costa. Matthew Stephen Dane. Huong Dane. John Orestes de la Pera. Emily Lee Dreschler. Teresa Michelle Dollar. Adriana Josette Donofrio. Emily Rose Donovan. Emma Whiting Dotery. Kevin Richard Doyle. Kelsey Michaela Dunn. Reagan Arbor Dunwoody. Michael Edward Dwyer. Olivia Louise Dyer. Benjamin Tyler Fahey. Jamie Julia Falla. Ryan Michael Feely. Peyton Janelle Fisher. Mackenzie Elizabeth Flynn. Peter Scott Foradora. Carly Angela Forker. Paige Ferrano. Elise Gardner. Kendall Kelly Garnett. Brian James Gerard. Grace Marie Gherkin. Bitsit Kerbet Gaetana. Sarah Kathleen Green. Sophie Elizabeth Haberman. Zachary J. Hartman. Nicholas Michael Hine. Logan Matthews Hilligus. Catherine Emily Holmbeck. Kate E. Hugany Axline. Irene Hu. Ethan Royden Hines. Julia Aurora Iliano. Caroline Keating. Margaret Nicole Kellerman. Taba Khan. Samantha Lee Kilani. Saya Kim. Taylor Lee Kirkwood. Darby Ann Kleinert. Derek William Knight. Lindsay A. Knupp. Josephine Witter Kolstad. Claire Amanda Kramer. Andrew Lee. Stephanie Lynn. Sakura Lee. Tianju Lee. Jason Robert Lowater. Kojo Brofo Barnor Loco. Quentin Asa Long. Melania John Lukianoff. Sinwei Lu, in absentia. Casey Lynn Mack. Marta Majiski. Nikita C. Morathi. Peter H. Martinson. Thomas Shiego Matsumura. Ian Henry Mon. Caroline Taylor Make. Shannon Elizabeth McCollum. Jane Claire McDevitt. Mitchell Patrick McGowan. Caitlin Marie McLean. John Michael McNally. Julia Lynn McNally. Chin Chin May. Allison Marianne Meyer. Kayanne Dorothy Monty. Sarah Elizabeth Mooney. Natalie Marie Moreno. Jane Marie Muyo. Molly McCarthy O'Halloran. Patrick Michael O'Hara. Tyler G. O'Hara. Jack Nathaniel Otto. Jessica Nicole Perino. Alexa Patel. Dishani Patel. Nicholas Raymond Perry. Michelle Than Pham. Carol M. Phillips. Kathleen Rosalind Phillips. Zuling Chin. In absentia. Jennifer Ratmansky. Sanford Wren. Gianna Lucia Rubel. Julia Marie Sanger. Dominique Patricia Schaefer. Justin Eli Schaumburger. Madison Rose Scapano. Megan Lee Shaw. Patrick Fergus Bright Shield. Nicholas William Simmel. Otis Emmanuel Skitch. Serena Marie Smith. Thomas James Stone, in absentia. Scott Jason Strasburger. Victor Olegovich Svistanov. Alexis Marie Tierney. Benjamin Garrett Travis. Raven Aisha Truxon. Madden Judith Tuffy. Kathleen Ann Ward. Raven. Samantha Christina Williams. Abigail Maeve Wukich. Helen Yang, in absentia. Zichqin Yao. Shareya Yaramosu. Alexandra Rose Yadinsky. Ella Rose Zeron. Jessica Zhao. Jiankan Zhao. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Education. Sarah Michelle Ballack. Rachel Claire Bellissimo. Natalie Teresa Kreusch. Lainey Rachel Lavelle. Bangyan Lee. Victoria Marie Lofredo. Taylor Renee O'Brien. Catherine Marie Petros. Rosa Lisbeth Rivera. Bridget Maria Sloniker. Megan Nicole Small. For the degree Bachelor of Music, William Riley Ernst. Catherine Elizabeth Eidelman.
Hello. I am honored to present our candidates for degrees in the College of Engineering. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering, Soren Michael Borgart. Jenna Golbes Cohen. Isabella Ann Deal. Melissa Lee Ferrarer. Drew Allen Filchner. Kaylee Marie Hilal. Woot Mon Tin Ki. Xiaojun Liu. Sheila Nyambara Mwangi, in absentia. Mara T. Naskowiak. Zane David Patterson. Andrew Joseph Perry. Angela Leanne Peroni. Catherine Elizabeth Sieber. David Sim. Erin Grace Sullivan. Diana Gabrielle Wallet. John Francis Weibolt. John Richard Zardis. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Matthew Hunter Farrell. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering and Bachelor of Management, Sandra Khalil Mandanat. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, Robert W. Barlow. Adam Dale Boyer. Brian Richard Daddio. Alec Michael Diorio, in absentia. Sophia Nicole Granbois. Michael David Kaleri. Sarah Grace Lindgren. Nolan James Morrison. Jared Wayne Novicic. Philip Robert Onfrey, in absentia. Margaret Gertrude Orr. Andrew Hewart Roseberry. Holden T. Scharf. Stephen Joseph Schmidt. Caitlin Elizabeth Schutte. Samantha Fiona Sloan. Yi Chen Wen. Megan Elizabeth Yant. Kaylee Yuan. Allison Miriam Zitkoff. Erin Bado Zielinski. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Krista Marie Esposito. Reagan Michelle Withy. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering and Bachelor of Management, Demetrios John Neros. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Haley Marie Cesario. Paige Elizabeth Colici. Zachary Nicholas Dahl. Zachary Wade Denning. Jordan William Habib. Nicholas Ibrahim Haddad. Frank Millard Hauser IV. Quentin Patrick Mason. John Charles McNally. Samuel Austin Miller. Jonathan Michael Negron. Nicholas Michael Parks. Santiago A. Quintero. Brett James Resendez. Jordan Christopher Rundlet. Max Edward Silverman, in absentia. Jared Anthony Smith. Mary Catherine Stefanowitz. Jacob Martin Stummer. In absentia. Jacqueline Dakota Sutton. Carter A. Weiland. Yara Ziadi. Kyle Conrad Zimmerman. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Lam Tan No, in absentia. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and Bachelor of Management, Madison Ann Henderson. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering, Daniela Christine Bellini. Aiden John Brewer. Rachel Corinne Cherry. Mario Louis Chappelli. Kyle John Chrysler. Nicholas Evan DeMarchis. Michael S. Gertz. Mark Ryan Mitchell. Min An T. Bon. Alexander Lyman Rogers. Douglas D. Wright. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Zinron Wan. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering, Sebastian Ascoli. Sean Wesley Bartholomew. Sarah Ann Blickenstaff. Jamie, in absentia, Jamie Rose Brusco. Ida Chen. Samantha Elizabeth Citron. Cheng Cheng Ding. Kevin Saturo Fong. Ezekiel Paley Farkas. Joseph Justin Gabrielle. Shroak Lama. Koi An Lam. Matthew I. Levine. Lawrence Xiaozhu Li. Jiki Li. Lin. Jiki Lin. Parker McLean Messner. Elsa Pirelli. Kartikeya Sharma. Fernando Spadea. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, Sharop Dar. An Kun Kyu. For the degree Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Jason Gomez. Nathan Edward Janvrin. Tyler Long. Ifananya Rosemary Maduka. Brandon Martinez. Julian Medina. Nicholas Carmen Mitchell. Bradley J. Nagel. Joseph Aaron Rofer. Nana Kwame. Christian James Siek. In absentia, correct? Albert Trejo. Devin Connor Whalen. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering, Asteri Aliyah. Caroline S. Bolton. Severiano Calderini. Riley Kate Doyle. Ryan Kitaro Iwata. Leah Hill Mertz. Ian Thomas Murphy. Marin Yamada. Zihan Zhang. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Vincent Luciano Antonello. Christopher Anthony Bancardo. Timothy Hosea Chalemba. Alexander Chapman Freitag. Chad J. Gamler. Alexander Lynch Gayette. Alexander P. Karpowitz. Chin Ting Kong. Michael Paul Coast. Hunter Ari Listwin. Owen Patrick McEnroe. Caitlin Miles McGinnis. Daniel James Melee. William Kenneth Olson. Wesley Singsun Pak. Michael Sean Prestipino. Owen James Sheely. Jun Young Shin. Brett Christopher Smith. Benjamin Corbin Snook. Catherine Isabel Sweeney. Samuel Mark Sweeney. Aaron Matthew Swope in absentia. Luke A. Sylvester. John Thomas Z. Carlos Jose Vargas II. Francis Benjamin Witham. Kyle Thomas Wright. Daniel Magnus Young. Congratulations to our class of 2022 graduates of the College of Engineering.
Ready? Mr. President, it is my honor to present to you a historic class, the first class to be admitted and matriculated to the Freeman College of Management, the class of 2022. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, David Luke Allen. Noreen Paulette Andrush. Matthew Frank Bakaukas. Rowan Elizabeth Biter. Nora Eileen Bennett. Jacob Todd Beaver. Carly Kalina Binday. Ryan James Binford. Robert Joseph Bonner III. Alana Emily Fortman. Nicolette Ann Bott. Brennan Robert Boyle. Michael Rand Boyle. Dudley Wilder Robles Bryce. Maxwell Aaron Bunzel. Jennifer Lynn Burke. Claire McKenzie Burton. Isabel Catherine Carden. Kyle Robert Caruso. Emma Lillian Cashwell. Matthew Paul Servon. Grayson Michael Cherubino. Amisha Shetry. Jack Francis Chiote III. Youssef I. Chisholm. Emily Veronica Chapurian. James Fitzgerald Sikera Jr. Erin Marie Cleary. Patrick Edward Collier. Megan Genevieve Coyle. Anna Allegra Christini. Nicholas Connor Dagnino. Bennett Buell Dahl. Frank Willard Davis. Robert Vincent DeCastro. Dylan James DeMarco. Olivia Price DeNicola. Hey Min Pham Dong. William Philip Dunkel. James Ashton Dunn III. Taryn James Earl. Andrea Echo. Theodore James Eckerd Beutis. Vanessa Flora Eng. Kevin Daniel Etheridge. Nicholas Mark Fardoni. Joseph John Fazio. Conrad Edward Veit. Dylan McCullum Ford. Alexander Bastian Forsman, in absentia. Ella Elaine Gatlin Frank. Andrew David Funk. Andrew James Funovitz. Claudia Nicole Glasgow. Emily Marie Goldman. Jayla Ashani Grant. Taylor Witten Grayville. Jackson Grant Greeley. Luke O'Neill Grover. Trevor Ryan Gulak. David Jeffrey Hare. Abigail Wilson Harris. Elizabeth Rose Heil. Catherine Marie Hilal. Abigail McLeod Hislop. Jared Christopher Hodell. Justin Connor Horn. Yenjin Huang, in absentia. Colleen Catherine Hull. Rebecca Layla Jawahar. Allison R. Jennings. Kayla Elise Johnston. Julia Ann Jones. Ryan David Jurist. Evan D. Kaplan. Severio Rainier Kaufman. Ariel D. Kelly. Benjamin Ian Kate. Annabelle Mackenzie Nollmeyer. Lindsay May Knudsen. Allison Julia Katowitz. Adi Kashetri. Tara Rose Leahy. Kirk Fox Laspaniso. Benjamin Martinez. Rachel Ann Martin. Allison Marie McCormack. Elizabeth Ann McDermott. Delancey Randolph McFadden. Megan Marie McInerney. Olivia, sorry. Oh, okay, thank you. Is he right there?
Brendan?
Brendan Lowry. Okay, ready? Brendan Lowry, thank you. Brendan James Lowry. Olivia Marin McLeod. Jane Meng. Sarah Noel Monteleone. Erin Elizabeth Mooney. Kevin Aaron Moran, in absentia. Hannah Matilda Moriarty. Samuel Wilson Mooson. Aaron Delaney Mullen. Thomas Ronald Munschauer. John Kyle Napolitano. Trang Quinn Nguyen. Natalie Edwards Notes. Kian Christopher Nowak. In absentia, Kyle Patrick O'Connor. Stephen Paul Alexutvin. Ashmitha Padmanabhan. Joseph Anthony Pascucci. William Chen Paul. Christopher James Perullo. Mark Henry Pesacreta. Matthew James Pino. Liam Andrew Pitt. John Edward Powell III. Benjamin George Ream. Faith Ann Riley. Natalie Marie Ring. Ethan Paul Roberti. Amy Elizabeth Roche. Mason Robert Rose. Jacob Christopher Russ. Arthur James Scavone. In absentia. Maxwell Nicholas Schlossberg. Chelsea Elizabeth Scully. George H. Selig. Daniel Scully Sheehan. Lucia Sadira Singer. Brant Harrison Sliver. Ilana Beth Smith. Christopher Thomas Sablisky. Zachary James Swartz. Megan Jane Tainer. Amelia Grace Tardera. Abigail Tate. Drew J. Thomas. Bridget Marie Tobin. Kelly Y. Toomey. Caitlin Eliza Tucker. Zachary William Tucker. Griffin Patrick Tooley. Daniel Parker Van Horn. Daniel Matthew Venezia. Renee Emmanuel Vinico. Brandon Vessels. Eric Joseph Wajula. Victoria Byer Walworth. Caitlin Ann Ward. Michael Isaac Winthrop. Justin Everett Williams. Zachary Daniel Usen Angeline. Brett Zatlin. Caroline Elizabeth Zortman. Congratulations, Bucknellians.
Graduate program. I am also pleased to introduce one final undergraduate this morning. For the degree Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering, Jonathan M. Jack Chambers. And for the degree Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Yanjing Huang.
So our student speaker here. Taryn Earl. Sorry, I couldn't see it.
All right. So my friends rejected all the jokes that I had to start, so I'll spare you guys with that, and we'll just get it going. Hello, and a warm welcome to classmates, family, faculty, and staff to our 2022 commencement. August 15, 2018 was warm and sunny, and to the average person, probably just your typical day. However, for all of us, it was the day we left our homes to move to Bucknell University and meet the people we would make memories with for the next 4 years of our lives. At the time, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how good the good times would be, how low the low times would, or anything in between. And I think it's safe to say that nobody in this audience could have predicted how drastically our lives would change from that August 15th day to now. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we were just beginning to figure out this whole college thing. We were learning that there were actually 4 meals in a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 1 a.m. flights and tater tots. We found out that sleep was for the weak during midterms and finals. Only the strong survived. We all grew familiar with the houses along St. Catherine Street and 7th Street. We figured out that the CAF was a social mecca at its prime time. There was no better spot to be than the Quad for sunset, and Saturdays were super. Most of all, we were solidifying our ride or die people that wouldn't just be there for the next 4 years, but the next 40. Then, out of nowhere, the Bucknell experience looked a little different. We were sent away to different corners of the country and the world to fight through the battles of virtual learning. Our parents were exclaiming, "Didn't we just get rid of them?" as we were texting our friends, "I need to get back to school now." When we did return, we came back to a different Bucknell than we once knew and had to relearn college all over again. But Bucknell wasn't the only thing that was changing. Our country was continuing to shift in other ways. The tragic murder of George Floyd sends shockwaves around the nation that further open people's eyes to the brutalities people of color must face every day. Reports of violence against Asian Americans spark conversations within friend groups, sports teams, classes, and clubs on this campus. We sat together in this political climate of unrest, holding space for our friends of other minority races, members of the LGBTQI+ community, and women as they continue to fight for equity in this world. And on top of it all, we were still struggling to figure out just where to park around here. But we made it through class of 2022. Now, look where you are, sitting here receiving one of the most prestigious degrees in the country. To call that achievement remarkable is an understatement, so please give yourself a hand for that. I recently came across a quote that I feel defines the journey we've now been on. It's from Red Auerbach, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, who won 16 NBA championships in his 29-year career. He stated, "You don't win games as a coach during games. You win games as a coach before games, but the players win during the games, not coaches." Through all the challenges, setbacks, and unprecedented events we face, our Bucknell administration, faculty, and alumni went above and beyond to set us up for success. They devised procedures and protocols to help keep us healthy and safe. They built new state-of-the-art buildings and created events to enhance our experience. They invited us to their office hours when we had no clue what was going on, and so much more. That's what's so special about this university, that no matter how impossible things seemed, this community never wavered. That tight-knit, small school feel that attracted most of us here served to make this place truly feel like home in a strange and uncertain world. But that support can only carry us so far and can only prepare us for so much. At the end of the day, each of you had to define your own experience at Bucknell. You decided how to learn, connect, and grow. There were no professors there at 1 a.m. when you were trying to make sense of your chemistry lab. There were no alumni to tell you which dorm or house to live in or what clubs you'd enjoy being a part of. There were no coaches to give you a play-by-play through that rough breakup and argument with a best friend. When game time came, it was you, your intuition, your effort, and your bravery that led you to victory. But this is just the start of your winning streak, because your life has only just begun. We're going to leave this place and become future doctors, lawyers, teachers, artists, engineers, CEOs, and CMOs. You name it, someone here will become it. Along the way, you may meet obstacles bigger than the mountains you've climbed to get here, but you've proved what you can do under pressure. Today, you sit here as the gems of Bucknell University. Without the work you've put into yourself, your academics, and your community, there would be no record-setting achievements or national rankings for us to celebrate. And Bucknell is so lucky to have you representing it as you continue to succeed in life. I am so proud to be a member of the class of 2022. I'd like to thank my mom, dad, and 3 sisters for supporting me on this 4-year journey. And I want to thank the friends I gained along the way for becoming an extended family I never knew I could have. Keep winning your game, and Ray Bucknell forever. Let's go!
Well, thank you, Taryn, for sharing your reflections today. That sure was powerful. We're going to move on to the second half of our program now. It's much shorter than the first. Graduates, go forward knowing that you will always be Bucknellians and will carry the lessons of the last 4 years and the ties to this community with you in your hearts and your minds and your souls forever. Please stay connected to Bucknell. We want to see how your story unfolds. We congratulate you and wish you all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2022. Ray Bucknell. And now I invite everyone who is able to please rise and join in singing our alma mater.
Dear Bucknell, oft I fear we're thinking, and memories fond come trooping by. The tireless stars may cease their blinking, but thoughts of these shall never die. And though the years still swiftly o'er us, and winter comes with biting sting, our hearts with youth's undaunted chorus shall e'er with praise of Bucknell ring.
Thank you.